My name is Aaron Ladd, host of the Chief Squad Show here on the Locked On Podcast Network. And I'm mad at myself, folks. This team has showed us who they are. I refused to believe it last week. Maybe I was in the Thanksgiving spirit. Not anymore. I am fully out on the Kansas City Chiefs, and Cancun is calling for KC. We preview Sunday Night Football coming up in this episode.
Hater already. I'm JC Pearson, and, Josh Simmons is officially on IR now. So, man, are these guys going to be able to block this pass rush of the Houston Texans?
And I'm Darren Smith. Shout out to the Maya Angelou quote from Aaron Ladd. But look, does Andy Reid truly believe the words that are coming out of his mouth when he talks about that they're just right there and 2 or 3 plays here and there could turn the difference in the game?
Chiefs Kingdom, stand up. It's the Chiefs Squad. Everything Kansas City Chiefs every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from Arrowhead Stadium. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Squad up. The Chiefs Squad Show starts now.
All right, appreciate you tapping in on another episode of the Chiefs Squad Show here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. We want to remember to like, comment, subscribe, hype. We appreciate you everydayers for tapping in with us every episode, as well as making us your first listen here on the Locked On Podcast Network. A lot of discussion ahead of this must win. Or the last 3 episodes we've had during the midweek are must win. I'm tired of saying must win. It's not must win anymore. Kansas City has some critical O-line injuries we will discuss ahead of this matchup in prime time. The Texans enter behind DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud and pose a threat to Kansas City, who really can't afford another loss at this point in the year. Can KC win out the rest of the way and make the playoffs, though, doing it their way? Our guy Ryan Tracy is going through the elements right now. He's joining us in the second half of the show. We'll talk to him about that, as well as get our predictions. But first, I want to start with some accountability. And Darren Smith, I wonder if you know where I'm headed with this one. Do you know where I'm headed with this one?
Hey, look, man, I was 0-4, you know what I'm saying? But I tell you one thing, though. FanDuel working here. I ain't got to go nowhere. You know,
for our everydayers,
I get a
for
little
our everydayers that depend on us for picks.
Now.
Darren is our Vegas guy.
Now. And look, I get a chance now where I ain't got to rush up. I can sit here and study. You know what I'm saying? When I'm watching the game in the press box come Sunday, I'll be able to make my live bets. Me, Steve, Alex Gold, and Rob Collins, we all gonna be just up there, just all up in our FanDuel app.
Yeah,
that's dangerous.
Missouri has sports betting. We gave out some picks. We don't want to rub your nose in it, Darren, but I do want to, for those who might just be tapping in for the first time, he gave out his Thanksgiving slate as well as Black Friday. Lions win, Chiefs win, Ravens win, Eagles win. It's honestly impressive, Darren. I mean, going 0-4 is just as good as going 4-0.
Oh, wow.
Hey, well, hold on. I was right about one thing, though. I did tell you all it was going to be the most watched regular season game in NFL history, and I was right. So, 1 out of 5 ain't bad, I guess.
We're going to give you another hack.
They didn't pay for that.
Hacks.
Yeah.
I know.
We're going to give you some more hacks. We're having fun. I promise, Darren. You're still our guy. Let's talk some Chiefs football and some offensive line injuries.
We don't have to.
Came down. We don't. I mean, hey, we get paid. We got to.
I guess we.
Hey, man, I'm on here with a couple of haters, man. I think I'm on the wrong show. I need to be on the Chiefs show. This is the Chiefs haters show.
We just call it like it is, JC. We call it like it is. Let's get to the news first, and then I'll toss you the ball. I know you're not happy with how the show has started, but let's get some more news in here. Chiefs tackle Josh Simmons suffered a dislocated and fractured wrist. He had surgery on that wrist and has landed on injured reserve. Andy Reid confirmed on this Wednesday. The earliest return for him would be Week 18 against the Raiders. That is on January 4th. In his spot, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Darren, you're on the ground there. Is it Asa Pohl? Asa Pohl takes his place on the 53-man roster, and then they sign another guy to the practice squad at tackle as well. So that's the news. And here's how it will impact Kansas City potentially on Sunday. This is from my guy, PG Sween. Peter, what's up? Hope you're listening. He says the projected O-line following some of those moves and the injuries because we know Trey Smith is out as well. Wanye Morris at left tackle, Kingsley Suamataia at left guard, Creed Humphrey at center, Mike Caliendo at right guard, and Jalen Moore at right tackle. J.C. Pearson, what's your initial reaction to that projected starting five in front of Patrick Mahomes in this critical game?
Man, doesn't sound good, does it? Man, I don't know, man. You know, two backup tackles against these two defensive ends, man, it could be rough, man. So, you know, this is where Nagy and Andy Reid have got to game plan for this pass rush, because you got a couple backup tackles and you've got guys out there already double-digit sacks, Will Anderson and the other guy over there. But, man, they're going to be coming, licking their chops. And so you're going to have to keep Pat healthy. It's going to be one of those games where Pat's going to he has to run around, because I don't think they're going to be able to block these guys all game. So it's going to be a interesting game, and one that they've got a game plan against that rush. Get the ball out quick, screens, et cetera, and not get impatient and start trying to throw the ball down the field.
That worries me. When we're going into a game like this, 6-6, still trying to scratch and claw and do whatever they can to win out, it worries me that we're talking on Wednesday about, hey, Pat running around is probably our best shot. You know, we've come on this platform that we need to keep him on schedule, first, second read, stay ahead of the chains, avoid third and long. Now, for the injury and kind of the poor play and losing the one-score games earlier in the year, now you're in a spot where it's like, all right, we playing background ball, basically, backyard ball. And we got to get 15 out there to just say F it somebody down there. That's not a good plan. That makes me nervous if I'm a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, but look at what you have playing at tackle, though. You know, it'd be different if you had your starting tackles out there. You can talk like that, but you know, realistically, I mean, Wanye's had how many snaps this year? And you know, the thing about Wanye, man, is he's just a happy, nice guy. You know, he's always kid, laughing.
Yeah, he is literally the nicest, probably one of the nicest people on that team. Like, he always has, like, he will foul up, but post game, we still got Stroud. You be like, man, what?
Yes. They snatch him out the game, and he's on the sideline smiling and laughing. But he plays the wrong position to have that mentality, man, especially this week. So, man, you want some dog, you want some nastiness out there, and you know, I hope he can turn that on and bring that out of him. But, yeah, they're going to have it this week.
Look, I'll be honest, man. Again, for me, it always falls down to coaching, man. You know, Eric Bieniemy, when he was here, would say that these backups are coached to be starters. You know, so, I mean, you get an opportunity to play. You got to step up and play, because at the end of the day, you're not going to get no excuses. I mean, you know, whether it was Wanye, especially last year, you know, you look at Wanye, you look at Kingsley, you know, and they played their left tackle position, and they were turning the barbecue chicken most of the season, not the entire season. But, you know, there was no grace given. That's just the position that you play, right, and that's just what it is. So I hope that Andy Heck, Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, they got a game plan together to combat that Houston defense, because they're coming. They're coming.
Hey, yo. We're talking about this Texans front, and you mentioned the two guys out there. Will Anderson Jr. has a sack in 6 of his last 7, and then the other guy on the other side, Daniil Hunter, has a sack in 3 of his last 4. This is a front that's aggressive. They're coached by a defensive-minded coach who likes to scheme up blitzes. We love to give Steve Spagnuolo a lot of credit for the creativity and how they throttle and move guys around and stunt guys here, left, right. Don't let the quarterback get comfortable. That's what's going to happen on KC's front this time. And my fear is, go ahead and stamp your bingo card in the first segment, because I'm going to get to it early and often as the hater is here. If you can't run the football consistently and you cannot get yourself out of clear and obvious passing situations for Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes is going to be back there running for his life, and that leads to mistakes. We've seen those mistakes happen. I give credit to Darren. The deep ball has not been there all season long. If I'm a defense going against Kansas City this week, I'm not worried about the deep ball, because even if he is open, 15 might not find him. I'm taking away those intermediate routes. I'm taking away the short run game, or the alternate, the jet sweeps and all these creative type of stuff. I'm telling my guys, if we can stop Kareem Hunt, we can make Kansas City one-dimensional, and Patrick Mahomes is going to make a mistake at some point.
Yeah, the thing about that is they do it mainly with their front four. So, when you look at their linebackers, only one linebacker has any sacks, and that's 2.5, and that's the T.O. Toto guy or whatever. The other guys don't have any sacks on the season, so they only bring one guy when they bring them. That front four has been dominant this year. So, the things you have to do is you have to game plan again, just attack one side, attack it at the edge, chip a guy, even like teams used to do with DT and Neil, they would run at DT instead of letting them run around the corner and sack your quarterback. When we run the ball, we are going to run at him because that's not what he wants to do. He wants to get after the quarterback. So, that's another way that you slow those guys down some is you run right at them a few times and then make them have to think that you're coming at them.
Darren, I'll have a question for you. You're in the locker room. You've talked to Creed Humphrey multiple times and had kind of gotten his perspective in situations like this. He's the veteran on this makeshift O-line going into this game. What's his role? What are you expecting from him to bring in what we're calling a do or die situation for Kansas City with their playoff hopes on life support?
Well, you hope he brings. Well, for me, you kind of hope he brings that what do you call it, JC? Someone that farm strength. What I mean, that toughness down there that you. Yeah. No, because go ahead, JC.
No, I know what you're saying, but he can only do his job. He can't run out there and block for them. But
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying hopefully he can be leader to where the other players follow because. Going back to what Aaron talked about, with this defense and you as well, JC. I mean, that front line, the intensity of how they play on defense and getting after the quarterback again. I go back to what they did to Josh Allen a couple of weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. I mean, they sacked that man 8 times, and they had no problem going to end. Now, granted, I would say that the Chiefs offensively have a better set of skill players than Buffalo does. So I don't know if they're going to just allow them, to run free. But if I'm Creed Humphreys, they got to set the tone and they have to play physical football and they have to impose their will on the Houston defense. I don't know if they can or not, because again, I like Wanye, but you got to name Wanye Morris, who was named after the guy from Boys to Men. That don't really scream toughness, what I'm saying? When we
go out there and play, come on, you always got to go there, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying, hey, look, man, Wanye might get out there and start singing "Let It Snow" or whatever in between downs. You never know. That's my guy, but
hey.
Come on now.
But you know what, man? I'm gonna get off of them.
Really, JC.
Really, the burden is going to be on this defense and the special teams to create some short fields for this offense. To honestly, this is not going to be.
You're relying on Chiefs special teams for something.
Listen, they have to show up and do something. That's what I'm saying.
That's like relying on Darren's bets last week.
Wow. Here we go again.
Boy, you always gonna be cursed on the show.
They gonna send you to
last one.
Send y'all to a different show, man. They gonna put y'all on a different show, man. Damn. But yeah, I mean, this is not a game where we are gonna be able to ball control and do those kind of things because their defense is too good. And the longer they're on the field, the more chance they have to hit Pat because they are going to be coming after him. So we've got to rely on our defense to take the ball away. We got to do that more. We haven't done that enough. We got to rely on them to give us the short field, the special teams. This has got to be one of those complete games where, we got to win offense. We got to win on defense, special teams, like the old Marty type mentality, except we're not running the ball. We're still going to be throwing it, but we got to win with defense and special teams this week.
I will say this though, to JC's point, and I get what he's saying about special teams because if I'm thinking about special teams, I really don't want it to come down to Harrison Butker, but I'm not too concerned about him right now. I need Matt Araiza, saying field position. If I'm thinking special teams, is if the Chiefs have to punt the football, saying make sure that the defense has great field position when Houston's on offense. And for the life of me, hopefully the Chiefs defense stands up enough to where you're holding Houston to field goals instead of touchdowns. But I'm still not as convinced on Houston, offensively with CJ Stroud coming back. But I know we'll talk about that shortly.
Look at you. You're looking at the break times and everything, man. I appreciate it. That's growth, Darren. That's growth. We done came a long way in this podcast thing. We're going to continue talking about the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs on the other side. Can Kansas City win out playing their way? We'll discuss that as well as our Texan Scout. You're listening to the Chief Squad Show on the Locked On Podcast Network. The holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something you wrap. It's a way to share memories because Aura isn't your average picture frame. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it. So when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles. Add a personalized message right inside the frame so the gift feels thoughtful the moment it is opened. Packaging comes gift ready. No price tag, no wrapping needed. A huge win. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code LOCKEDON. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames will sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. That is the Chief Squad Show. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, we are back in on the Chief Squad Show here in the midweek. Aaron Ladd, Darren Smith, J.C. Pearson, Ryan Tracy will appear soon. And we are breaking down this Chiefs versus Texans matchup. Kansas City in desperate need of a win. Look, I wanted to make this last point on the offensive line before we moved off and did a little bit more Texans scout. And the tackles, Jalen Moore, who's probably had the most, experience playing this year, and he had to fill in for Simmons when he was down. We started to see some of the cracks in the armor towards the end of his stint before Josh Simmons came back. Teams were starting to figure him out. Now, granted, he was going against some top flight guys. I'm thinking specifically of a matchup he had with Max Crosby, where Crosby got the best of him. But hey, he's one of the best in the game. This is also another tough test, and I'm nervous about Pat holding the ball back there, running around, because that has led to more bad than good for Kansas City's offense in 2025. I don't know if anybody else has anything more on that.
Is Wanye starting at left or right?
Wanye at left, Jalen Moore at right.
And see, that's interesting in and of itself, because Jalen was playing left when Josh, the whole time that Josh was out. So obviously they weren't happy with something he was doing over there. Your mic, Darren.
Darren's trying to talk, but his mic is off.
My bad. It was Jawan Taylor hasn't come back from injury, so he might have been replaced. That's the reason why they got Jalen Moore.
Do you have any I know you are a boots on the ground guy, and you text Jalen all the time after the game and everything. Has he told you anything?
I don't text Jalen at all. Jawan.
Excuse me, Jawan. My bad.
But to your point, Andy said they didn't practice today, and not sure whether or not they'll practice as we leave. I don't expect them to play Sunday, so I think they're going to hold them out.
And I was looking at these injury reports for Houston. Will Anderson didn't practice on Wednesday as well with the chest injury. We'll monitor that as we get closer to kickoff.
He'll be fine Sunday.
Yeah, you think he's looking at them two backup tackles and ain't gonna sit out this game? Please,
trust me. Hey, that's what I tell you. AC, trust me, the man's going to Gates on Saturday. Then he's going to some barbecue linemen on Sunday. So we know what he's going to be doing.
I ain't going that far with it, though. I just said he was going to play, man.
You on an island this episode, JC. I'm sorry, man. You on an island.
Hey, man. Aaron, you need to go in the locker room with Darren then. You need to come. I'm going to set it up.
Chiefs had us working on Thanksgiving, and we didn't appreciate the performance they put out there. Texans offer a tough test as well. They rank first overall in yards allowed per game, so they allow the least amount of yards per game, as well as points allowed per game, 16.5, which is absolutely low. Maybe credit that to some of the division opponents they played this year. But regardless, they're playing NFL teams and holding them to 265 and 16.5 points per game. And we're already at week 13. That's a tough test. And we always do this thing on this platform, right? Now, I'll toss it to you all, wondering what your thoughts on this. Usually good KC, and when KC is winning, they get closer to that 30 mark as far as points per game. But when KC has really struggled is when they can't get 3 scores. They struggle to get 21 points or 24 points. Where do y'all see this one shaking out? Is Patrick Mahomes getting closer to that 30 or maybe that 21-24 mark?
No, for them to win, they have to, for me, I've always said with this offense, the key for me is they have to get to 30 points, especially as we tail off to the end of the regular season and knowing that they have to win these games, they have to be able to outscore these their opponents. And looking at how Houston plays defensively and how upcoming games against the Broncos on Christmas, she's got to be able to put points on the board when they have the ball. Somehow, some way, they actually have to figure out how to stay on the field to keep the other team's offense off the field.
Well, see, I have an idea for that. Go for it on fourth down. Go for it on fourth down. There's no need to punt. There's no need to punt. The season is on the line. No. It does. Yeah, we know where you're at. You're at 6-6. You got to go for it every time. Give your offense 4 downs.
It depends on where you're at on the field, though. You can't go for it. If you're deep in your own territory, and then put your defense in a bad situation. But
and Aaron, you really can't do that when you got Matt Araiza who can punt the ball 70 yards. You don't need to do that. So you can, in that instance, you can play field position. You just have to hope you can block enough, block long enough so he can get a good kickoff. But Matt Araiza is your secret weapon on offense if you have to punt the football.
The big thing for me is this defense has to get back to playing like it used to play, like it was playing. You can't go into a big game and not have zero sacks. When you're blitzing the quarterback, your whole objective is to get to the quarterback. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got to show up. They got to play, and and I don't care who you are in the secondary covering. If you're a blitzing team and you're not getting to the quarterback, you're going to get beat down the field. I don't care who you are. So it goes every time. It goes hand in hand. And so these guys, if they're going to be aggressive, somebody's got to get there. And they're all getting blocked and they're not being doubled. So you can't complain about that. There's, somebody, you got to beat single blocks and they're not doing it.
So let me toss this out there, Aaron, and I ain't trying to take over the show, nothing like that. But
you got it.
When you look at Houston's offensive, do you think Spags learned his lesson from last week? Now, granted, they don't have the same quality wide receivers as what we saw in Dallas, but do you think Spags kind of changed his game plan a little bit defensively, or do you think, no matter what, he's still going to go with what it is, and just what happened last week was a runoff?
I think this leads exactly into what Ryan was talking about. And is it my way or the highway? Does Kansas City finally start to change their ways? And does a Tiger finally start to change his stripes a little bit?
We can circle back around to that when he comes up.
Yeah. They've been so successful doing it a certain type of way. I think it's hard to rewire. I think, like we've said before, you're going to be damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think they're just going to go down swinging.
No. I'm not saying like just change your whole thing, but I'm saying, but you do it just week to week based on the opponent. So I'm saying you don't have to keep you don't have to just because that's what you're known for, just blitzing all the time, or your defenders on the island. You don't have to do that every single week. I mean, you can change things up because otherwise. Just like the movie Remember the Titans, you have tendencies, and because of those tendencies, that'll get you beat.
Oh yeah, that's everybody. The problem is, what do they change to? If they don't blitz, the front four is not getting any pressure. So now the quarterback is sitting back there. If you're just blitzing, rushing four and playing zone. Now he's just sitting in the pocket. So in order to try to rush that's why they're blitzing. That's not working either. They're blitzing safeties. They're blitzing corners. They're blitzing, nickel guys.
The reason why, because Chris Jones, George Karlaftis and company can't be found.
Right.
They're on the
I
FBI
agree.
most wanted list.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. So, you can't change now because change to what? Just blitz those four, I mean, then you're definitely not getting to the quarterback, at least, not this year. So, they are who they are at this point. And, I'm afraid teams haven't so much figured them out. It's just that guys haven't performed up to the levels that they performed at prior to.
Let's talk some Texans offense as we continue our scout here on the Chiefs Squad show. Kansas City's had some trouble with the tight ends in the past, and here comes another one that is involved in the pass game. Dalton Schultz, 7 catches for 55 yards last week, and the return of CJ Stroud, who was 22 of 35 for 276 in week 12. Was that week 12 or week 13? It was week 13. Woody Marks is their running back. He had 64 yards last week, trying to go for his 5th in a row with 50 yards from scrimmage. They also have a two-headed monster a little bit with Nick Chubb, who's had success for them as their change of pace back. And then their wide receiver duo. Last week it was CeeDee Lamb and
Nico
George
Collins.
Pickens. This week it is Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins, who has come on late for the Houston, had a career-high 65 yards last week in week 13. A lot of different weapons for CJ Stroud. He's a guy who has taken hits in the past. I wouldn't necessarily call him a mobile quarterback, but he does move and does extend the play when the time happens. Does anybody on that offense stand out to you, Darren? I'm going to get our guy Ryan in here who just joined the chat as well.
Nico. I mean, because, Nico was well last year. I mean, he's played well the last 2 seasons. And, obviously Nick Chubb, granted he's backing up Woody Marks, but but when he gets in the game, he still makes an impact. I mean, he can still get you 4, 5, 6 yards, kind of like Kareem Hunt. I mean, and look, that's basically he and Kareem Hunt, were teammates the last 3 seasons. So those two worry me, because if Nick Chubb is in the game, trust and believe, they have every intent on running that football.
Yeah, Nico's given us problems in the past too, and CJ is good enough. CJ can make all the throws. He can use his legs. He's good enough, and we've seen that firsthand. So this, it's not like this is going to be a break for our defense. They're going to have to show up and play, and we're going to need them to make some plays.
And I think the key is taking the run away from him. You gotta put it on CJ, and then you got to move CJ off his spot. Those are the 2 keys to me: is make him hold that ball longer than he wants to.
Ryan, I also want to get your thoughts on the Chiefs' offensive line. We announced the Josh Simmons move and the moves that happened there. The projected starting lineup of Morris, Suamataia, Humphrey, Caliendo, Jalen Moore. What are your thoughts on Kansas City's front 5 entering this kind of very pivotal game against the Houston Texans?
Well, at the rate that this week is going, I'd like to announce that I'm backing up Caliendo at this point, because there ain't nobody else left, right? That's where it's
that money. Get that money.
I'll take $5. You get 1 hit. I'll see you. But that's what it feels like. I am a East Chipotle fan, so I'm glad to see him get added to the roster, and I do think he is a developmental guy that can come in and have some impact. But when you're talking possibility here being down to 40% of your starting offensive line, it's one thing to plug a hole, but there's more holes than there are thumbs at this point, and the water's coming in like you won't believe. So I think the key is adapting, once again, the coaching staff's game plan to not put pressure on those players. The ball's got to come out fast. It's got to come out on target. You got to attack the middle where those linebackers are, because that's the weak point in this pass defense.
You missed my intro, but I don't believe it anymore. I'm fully out. I've signed up for the Houston Texans bandwagon. You can go ahead and find me on Sunday.
All right, I'm seeing flag.
I think the final nail comes in the coffin this Sunday. I think it's cooked. I mean, like you said, it's a shaky ship right now. I'm not getting on the Titanic if I know where it's headed.
Sometimes you just got to get the violins out and sit on the deck as the whole thing goes down, right? I mean, that's what it is to be somebody who rides the ride. We've been here through Todd Haley, right? We can survive this.
Man. Hater, hey, somebody took his turkey from him. Dang.
The attitude around the league about the coach in particular, I think, is a little overblown. But if this happens to go not the way that you're looking for, this fan base survived Todd Haley. It can survive this. Everything's going to be all right. The sun's going to come up tomorrow.
Wait, what's the attitude? What's the attitude around the league? Is something happening with Andy Reid? All right, that's what we call a tease here in the business. We will continue that discussion on the other side, as well as Ryan continues the discussion around the Chiefs and if they can win out their way. You are listening to the Chiefs Squad Show here on the Locked On Podcast Network. NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. So I tried to do my own little Darren Smith thing here. I cooked up a little 4-leg, same game parlay around the Chiefs and the Houston Texans. If y'all want to trail me on this one, Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown. Xavier Worthy, anytime touchdown. Patrick Mahomes for over 250 passing yards. And the Kansas City Chiefs money line to win, that $10 would net you 257 plus 2570. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast. So can you. We are back in on the Chief Squad Show here in the Locked On Podcast Network. No, what's up, JC? What's going on?
Did you just say you took the Chiefs and the money line?
Well, you know that I got one part.
Mr. Non-believer.
Right, Mr. Hater. I'm not getting on the Titanic, and I'm this and that. But if you want to follow me on this bet, I got Travis Kelce scoring. I got Xavier Worthy.
Hey man, I got bills to pay, JC. I don't know what you want from me, man. Look, a company man is what they call me. Okay. Company man. Having some fun here on the Chiefs Squad Show. Aaron Ladd, Darren Smith, JC Pearson, and Ryan Tracy. It is Chiefs versus Texans. Kansas City has actually won 5 straight against these Houston Texans. I don't know if that matters when these two teams line up. Head coach Andy Reid is 12-2 against the Texans in his head coaching career, 3-0 in the postseason, 9-2 since becoming a head coach in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes has played the Texans 6 times and is 5-1, including 2-0 in the postseason. But this year looks a lot different. And I think for some of it has to do with KC's own stubbornness to try and change some things and clear up some issues that were doing and rearing their head earlier in the year. Ryan, you posed this question in our group chat. Can Kansas City win out doing it their way?
That's the big thing. And I think part of the problem is I don't know that they know what their way is. The coaching staff does. They have their expectations. They have, as Darren points out every week, things they will and things they will not do, right? But for the players on the field, do they know who they are? Do they know what they need to go do? Because you've been successful at times doing some things on the offensive side that maybe aren't consistent enough to repeat. You've got some games where you actually ran the ball to your conclusion and got a W out of it, and then you go away from it again. So like there is an identity crisis going on here that I truly feel is at the core of what's going on here. And your way this year may not be the way. And I do think the adaptation, the things that we see a lot of times come out at the end of the season or in the postseason need to be moved up now. Like it's everything. Everything's a win now. Everything's a must win. There is no tomorrow. There is no playoffs. There is no nothing unless you get this W that's in front of you. And to your comment that maybe the last 5 wins don't matter, they certainly do. Because it started when the Chiefs met the Broncos. I started getting texts. I started getting calls about a week ago from everybody I know in Texas, Houston or not. It matters to them. They got a memory. There's an institutional memory of trying to get back at this team for a 30-0 run, for a 24 deficit that they came back on. There is, and it does make a difference.
They're going to get beat again this week. I'm not sold on the Texans. I don't know why Aaron is on that train. I mean, they get after the quarterback. They're doing well defensively, but offensively, they're not. I don't think they're better than what we've seen. And I think our defense can definitely get back to their winning ways against this offense.
I think it's possible as well. And I'd like to see is this a grudge match? Does David Pierce get some action here? I don't know. Like I'm living for those bloodlines, those lines that light the fire, because I think that's part of what they're missing.
Tommy Townsend revenge game. To your point, Ryan, you're right. Kansas City, we've come on this platform multiple times and said, what is their identity offensively? When the tough times happen and there's a quarter without them scoring, what do they rely on when they really need to move the ball and stay ahead of the chains? And even more specifically to this matchup, do the players on the field, your question was, do the players on the field know who they are? The offensive linemen do not, especially as a unit, as themselves, the five starters that are going to project to go out there. This unit has never played together. They're going to have to go out there and learn on the fly against one of the top defenses in the National Football League right now, and two, which we already said are pinning their ears back and trying to get after the quarterback. My fear is they get behind early and the mentality goes away. I think this is one of those situations where it's very faulty, right? You're at Arrowhead. The crowd has been a little different. I'm hearing the games on, they sound uneasy now. I haven't heard Arrowhead sound uneasy in a very long time. Like the crowd is like, we don't know. Don't get down 10 points early and have Pat back there scrambling for his life.
Well, I'm going to say this. I don't – one, because they haven't played at home since, of course, the Colts game. I think Arrowhead is going to be live. I think it's going to be loud, and I think the crowd felt like it was because of the injury. And of course, you know how Andy Reid talks about it after the game. But they feel like that they had a lot of help and momentum pushing the Chiefs over the finish line against Indiana or Indianapolis. And so I expect the same thing from Chiefs Kingdom and the crowd on Sunday. I mean, I don't expect CJ. I think the Texans will actually have a lot more penalties than the Chiefs in this game, which may not be saying much, depending on how they play. But I do believe the crowd is going to have a big factor in the game on Sunday.
And it's a night game, so they've got all day to get prepared. Yeah,
drink and stay warm.
Get ready. Yeah, so they'll be ready. The crowd will be ready. That's for sure.
One more thing to your my way or the high. Is there anyone in the building that's willing to say and has the ability and the respect of Andy Reid and everybody in there to say, this is not working, we need to do something else, or this is a plan that I think would prepare us given the certain circumstances? We know where Big Red sits. He sits high and looks low. He has a lot of final say on a lot of things. He's the head honcho. I think Pat has a lot of seniority and he can have some kind of a piece of that gumbo and that stew. Travis Kelce as well. But these conversations have had to have happened before now. We can't just have these conversations now at 6-6 coming off a mini bye. We really can't lose the rest of the way. Who is the person that's standing up that Andy Reid will listen to and take the advice and use it?
I think there are people that would. I don't think there are anyone that's willing to.
I'm gonna push back on that. It's not to say that they would. It's just that everybody's so bought into whatever Big Red says that I don't think he's going to get any pushback. I think they feel like whatever he puts out there, they feel like that's going to be the way to win the game.
How can you not, though? I mean, you've been to what, 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls? And so now you're having a bad season, and now we got to just change everything? Doesn't work like
I
that.
Will say this, I'll say this. I'm sorry, Jason. I will say the 2021 season, when they lost to Cincinnati in the AFC Championship game, I would say that was more of a barn burner, and that because they started off 3-4. It was that loss to Tennessee. It was such an embarrassing loss where they lost. I believe it was 27-3 because I was there, bet on that game. Shout out to the Titans for winning the second half for me. Hey, money's money. But they end up running, pretty much running the gauntlet, losing to Cincinnati twice. I think those were only 2 losses they had. The rest of the way that, but they had a players only meeting after a 3-4 record. I haven't even heard or I haven't even heard them talk about a players only meeting, thus far this season. And you would think, in the manner in which they are, because they're sitting, I think, 10th in the AFC conference, that they would have had a come to Jesus moment. And, by the time they do, it'll be too late to me.
I think the only way that truly happens is if, the bottom falls out.
Yeah,
It's
but by
like
the time you're already eliminated, so it's not gonna matter.
Yeah.
It's like a
Bottom's
relationship,
falling.
right? You get a Band-Aid baby, and then you kind of kick the can down the road on the divorce. But if somebody gets caught cheating, then it's over right then and there, right? Like Kansas City just needs to bomb out, in my opinion, to get some of these changes done.
Aaron, is there something you want to tell us?
No,
Yeah,
it was just an analogy.
He lost me with that analogy. I was like,
An
okay,
analogy.
you got a baby, then got caught cheating. I'm like, wait, hold up.
I kind of get where you're going. I kind of see where you're going. But I'll say this: it doesn't have to be that like black and white, right? To your point, JC, like you don't throw everything out, right? There are plays within this playbook that you can emphasize that get other things done on the offensive side. And there are players that can do things on the defensive side that you're not putting them in a position that they're undermanned, right? There are certain players here in coverage in particular that are better in the box than they are floating in free space, that are better than when they're in man coverage. And there are some things that can be adjusted without throwing out the baby with the bathwater, to use Aaron's one. I don't think it all has to change, but you can shift your focus within your scheme.
Yeah.
It's one-score games, too. It's just the one-score games. They're not that far away.
All right. Believe it or not, though, they have those meetings every week. You know, what plays do you like? What plays don't you like? What do you think works with Pat? And then on the defensive side, whoever they feel like their defensive captain is, they have those meetings. And, you know, we used to have them all the time. You know, hey, what do you guys like? What don't you like? Et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, you can't just go rely on that. And what the players say on game day, you get their input as well. But hey, you know, we're going to take your input, what you think works, what doesn't. We'll try it. We'll put it in. If it doesn't work, you know, then we go in a different direction. But, you know, it's tough when, you know, because they've won for so long. It's hard, you know, for people to fathom that, man, this team is not what they used to be. And, you know, the NFL is a cycle anyway. So they've had a long run, a great run, you know, and, you know, all those things come to an end. We might just be seeing we're coming to the end of it, you know. We'll see this week and then next week and the week after. But, you know, I think the system, it works, and the way that they use it works. You just have to get players in there to make the plays. You can call anything. If they're not producing on the field, it's not going to work.
I prefer to call it the beginning or the end of the beginning. If you look at New England's run through the years, right, there was a lull in the middle as well, where they had to readjust. They had to change some of their ways in the front office. They had to start making deals that allowed them to be a little bit more nimble and not get underneath gargantuan contracts. And I do think that is part of the scenario here as well.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Darren.
I was going to say, they still went to Super Bowls and during the low, they just didn't win them. So that's, you know, that's how it makes it like it was a drought from when they won, but they were still making it there.
Yeah. And the tough thing, like here, Ryan, that we're facing and going to face is, you know, when we were winning
salaries
early on, we had those cheap contracts, right? Guys playing on rookie deals that were big time contributors. Now, all of a sudden, you got to pay them a whole bunch of money. And now you don't have as much money for the other guys. And now the other guys are free agents or, you know, low round picks or whatever the case may be. And, you know, maybe those guys just aren't ready to produce. So they got lucky. You got to get lucky in the draft a few times, and they definitely did.
Ryan, I have one proposal for your my way or the highway theory with Kansas City. The other guys didn't like it. I already know what they're going to say. I want to know what you think about this. We're going forward on fourth down. You know, these punts that they had last week on the Dallas 47, KC 48, Dallas 49. Get rid of all those. Give 15 an extra down to Cook. Stay ahead of the chains. We're going forward on fourth down. If our season is on the line and we got to win out the rest of the way, I want as many downs as possible for the offense to possibly get those first downs.
I can get behind that to a certain extent. I mean, let's not be crazy. If you're on your own 25, that's insane.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The result's the result. But
we're not the Cleveland Browns, man.
Right. But I do think an uptick in the aggressiveness especially with the way that Kareem's been running in short yardage. I think that's there. And I think, honestly, the replacement players, and I'm not here to drag down anybody, but you're a backup player for a reason. I do think it is easier to come in and move a man with your motivation, your physicality in the run game than it is to defend somebody that's an elite pass rusher in the pass game. So I do think that is something that, especially in short yardage, if you can get to 4th and 3 and you're on a 40 one way or the other, then fine. But let's not be nuts.
All right, we're going to take our last break here on the Chiefs Squad Show. We are previewing Houston versus Kansas City. One quick break, and we'll join you on the other side with our predictions for this monster matchup. We'll be right back. Back in on the Chiefs Squad Show here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Aaron Ladd, Darren Smith, JC Pearson, and Ryan Tracy about to give our game day predictions. We appreciate y'all making us your first listen, and thanks again to our everydayers. I'm not starting with you, Darren, based off how the predictions went last week, but I do want to give a little, just a couple.
Look, all I know is come Sunday. I'm putting $50 on this on this where the Chiefs and the Texans only have to score 1 point to win $50. So trust and believe, I'm walking out a winner regardless of how.
Only have to score 1 point. What bet is that?
I was sending my referral link as we speak, JC.
1 point. What you mean?
Hey, just keep talking, JC. I got you.
That's the addict code, JC. That's the frequent flyer code right there.
Hey,
I'm sending it to you.
I'm going to send you the. Get it to you right now as we speak. I just keep
some more numbers. Yeah, some more numbers. Kareem Hunt trying to go with his 5th game in a row with 55 yards from scrimmage. He has a touchdown in 4 of his last 5 games. Travis Kelce needs 81 receiving yards to join Jerry Rice as the only players with 800-plus receiving yards in 12 straight seasons. And Nick Bolton goes for his 6th in a row with 6 tackles. Kansas City needs their playmakers to show up and make plays. I think y'all know where I stand, but JC, I don't know where you are on this one. It really is up in the air. You really haven't tipped your hand one way or the other.
Really? Well, hey, I told you how I felt about their offense. They're a good NFL team. They're not great. So I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. Are we giving scores now, predictions, or you just want my opinion? Okay, yeah. Well, I don't think offensively they're a great offensive team. So I think as long as we don't turn the ball over, Pat get strip sack or get hit, in the backside and fumble the ball or something like that. I think we'll be okay. But again, like I said in the beginning, our defense has got to step up and start taking the ball away to give our offense some more opportunities in the short field. They haven't done that lately. Not enough, rather. They did it, sorry, Darren. They did it that first series against Dallas, but after that was downhill.
No, Aaron, I was just going to ask Ryan because we didn't talk to him out the post game, but what he thought of Isaiah Pacheco and his return, and what he thinks he's going to contribute this week, because that's the one thing that we haven't mentioned at all in tonight's show.
Yeah, I thought movement-wise he looked fairly fluid. It didn't look like there was any problem in his giddy up. I just think he is the player he is, and I think he needs to warm up into it. So I think he can contribute more this week than he did last week. But I didn't see anything that made me go, no, it's just done. Aaron doesn't have to like him. I can like him. But I'm also the guy that would say, hey, let's make the long-haired blonde fullback available for this game too, and let's get Pearson there. Let's run at them with some force. I'd like to see him go jumbo. I'd like to see him use everything at their disposal to go put some hits and some physicality on this team.
To your point on Houston's offense, JC, I do have some numbers that'll back up your point. You said they're just okay on offense. The numbers bear that out. 18th in yards per game, 23rd in rushing yards per game, 22nd in overall yards per play, 31st in red zone touchdown percentage. Obviously, they had a backup quarterback in there for some time, but CJ Stroud is back in there now.
Don't make excuses for him.
Well,
it's the Texans stats. Don't make excuses for him.
It is the Texas stats. Darren, please, if you could give us the official lines on whatever app that you're on, and then what your opinion and prediction is on this one.
Well, I have to be like JC. I'm gonna just have to I'm just have to go with it, man. I got the Chiefs winning. Don't ask me how or why. Probably just because I'm getting a free $50 from a FanDuel and DraftKings. I'm going with the Chiefs.
What's the line? Okay, there you go.
I'm trying to tell you -3.5. The over under is 41.5. So I don't know if people dictate it. Actually, be quite honest, I think that sounds about right. The way the Texans defense has been and the way the Chiefs might be on offense, I think the 41.5 is I think Vegas might have something there. But to be quite honest, we look at coming out of the game. Chris Jones talked about how, that they would be better. I'm old school, man. Don't talk about it, be about it. Because you've been talking all season long about, we're gonna get together, we're gonna explode and have an explosive offense, this and that. You had it for a few games, and then then somehow, some way, you left the offense on the bus when you got to Buffalo, and nothing has been the same. Patrick essentially was a one-man show in Dallas last week, and and they get away. They could actually probably run the football well Sunday, but they'll figure out a way to get away from it when it's working for them. And for me, I don't want to put Patrick in a lot of passing situations. So I would hope that they, that they try to establish the run as best as possible, because I can assure you that's exactly what Houston is going to do. Now, granted, yes, they do have Nico Colley, do have Higgins, but every coach worth their weight is smart, especially DeMeco Ryans, especially after what happened last year in the playoffs. If they can run the football and keep Patrick and them on the sideline, that's going to end up forcing them to throw, which is was going to make the offensive line have to pass block, which means Will Anderson and them are going to go by Gates and get some sauce, and in between plays, rub it on their gloves or whatever. I'm trying to tell you that's not a good recipe. So I got Kansas City winning against my better judgment. I got them getting to the magic number of 30-17.
Wow.
Now, if you ask me I'm not going to wager that. I'm not going to put no money on that. What I am going to do, I'm going to make my bets during the game. I'm not putting no money on the Chiefs except for them to score 1 point.
Okay, so we have 2 votes. We got 2 votes for the Chiefs. Ryan, I think I know where you're headed as well. Don't leave me on an island here, man.
I'm torn. I got to tell you, and folks, I will give you my full preview and breakdown tomorrow on the Friday show of the preview game.
Oh, you're trying to hold it for your own show. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I'm just not going to give you a number, but I'm going to tell you this.
You're on this show, too. Be where your feet are, bro.
I will. Can I finish my thought? I will tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you. I am going to tell you this. This means something to the Texans in a way that I don't think most of the Chiefs fan base is prepared for, and I do think it is going to be a battle, and I do think the Chiefs go down early. I think they have to play from behind yet again. But I remember that 24-0 lead, and I do believe that there's still a piece of that team in there. And at the bottom line, end of the day, I think they have to battle back. My gut tells me that they get it done, but I'm not thinking it's a 1-score game. I'm thinking it's a 1-point game. I'm just not 100% settled on whether that's in the 20s or in the teens. I don't see anybody getting 30 in this, and I think it's going to be a grudge match punching. And I'll give you one prop, Darren. If you want to put a prop out there, Azeez Al-Shabair throws a punch. That's all I'm telling you. That's what I see coming from this game. I think it means more to the Texans than anybody in Kansas City thinks. And I think that's going to mean something.
Now, I will say this because if Patrick is the team leading rusher, then the Chiefs have lost his game.
Yeah.
Now, I might put money on that, though, because Patrick
is going to be running the ball.
He will be running.
Trust me. Yeah.
1 point win, Aaron. What do you got?
We got 3 guys picking with their hearts instead of their heads. We got guys who just said, "Hey, I don't know how the math works out, but man.
How's Houston gonna score enough points?"
Maybe, kind of. I think Casey goes down.
Look at your stats over there. Take a
I'm
look.
still mad at myself for last week. Against my better judgment, I said Casey was going to win. I said the Dallas defense is so bad. There's no way Kansas City is just going to go 2 quarters without scoring. I'm not being fooled anymore. I think Casey goes down early. And you said 24-0 comeback. I remember the shades of that happened in the playoffs. If KC goes down 14-0 in this game, put a fork in them, they're done. I'm worried about their mentality. I'm worried about what Arrowhead is going to sound like if they do get down early. And I think this is just what's best case for the dynasty. No one will remember what their overall record is this year if they miss the playoffs, whether they're 10-7 or whether they're whatever. It doesn't matter. They will just say miss playoffs, and you want to retool. You want to be higher up the draft boards. Casey loses this game, and finally we put any hope and prayer of them making the playoffs to bed, and then we transition to the next phase of the dynasty.
Listen, Captain Titanic, I don't think that we are ready for that turn.
For that, thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah,
In the meantime, I'm calling up Paul Wall and all the H-Town legends, Megan Thee Stallion, where they partying at this weekend, where we eating barbecue at after the game. I'm not changing my turn anymore. It's over.
Megan, Megan is going wherever Clay is at, so I need you to keep that in mind, bro. He is not coming to Kansas City.
Final thoughts, fellas, before we get out of here. We'll clip this up, and I'll make sure, same way we held Darren accountable last week, I will hold myself accountable after the final whistle.
Oh, we weren't worried about that. I was going to do that regardless. So, you know what? This game, and all honesty, in all seriousness, I believe this is going to show to me what the Chiefs are all about in the face of adversity. Knowing that your season's on the line, I want you to show me how you come out and play. Like, even if you lose, but you lose by 1, let it be, 31-30, but but you fight all the way and you just lose, you just lost to a better team. But if you come out and you play flat, you come out flat, and Houston gives up to a 14-0, 14-0 lead, and then you half-ass, try to come back or whatever, that's gonna tell me a lot about you, and how you thought about this particular game, whether or not you look past them or you just threw in the towel. So Sunday's game is going to tell me a lot about this team, one way or the other.
When have they ever done that though? This team is always.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
this is the worst adversity that they have faced in the Patrick Mahomes era.
Yeah,
because
I
even after 40 came back and again made the championship round, we don't even know if they, they can win this game and still be 10th in the playoff hunt. So
yeah, and I think they're going to come out and play hard. I think the biggest issue for them is, how those 2 offensive tackles play, and that's going to find how they play is going to determine how well this offense is able to play and what they are able to do. And that's why I'm saying it's going to be those 2 tackles. It's going to be those 2 tackles and that head coach and that defensive coordinator and how they call the game. Put your player in position, don't put your tackles in dangerous positions, with your play calling, so and of course defensively, what lesson did you learn last week that you can possibly make some sort of adjustments this week so it doesn't happen to you again?
That's where I'm at about lessons and how you learn them. I think there are a lot of players on this team that, at least in their professional careers, have never been through anything at this point. So can you learn vicariously what it's like to lose? Do you see the other guys that you beat week after week after week, and can you put yourself in their place so that you want to avoid this more than you want to win? You don't want to lose. I got to see who raises their game. This will tell us about the experience and how these guys learn as well. And either way, I think they get something out of it.
Remember the Chiefs Squad show here on the Locked On Podcast Network. We'll go live right after another Chiefs loss. As soon as the game hits 000, you can join us here on YouTube, wherever the game.
Hey, do we have to watch Ryan's show to get his score prediction?
Yes.
Jeez.
Ryan,
I
What are
only
we
been doing it
doing on
9
this
years
show?
on Fridays. You know what I mean?
What are we doing on this one then?
man, Ryan seems to forget that he gets paid for this show too. So
Oh man, what a fun episode
Wait, you
this
get paid?
was. Okay, we
I
out of here.
I do. My time ain't free.
We'll see y'all later.